वनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परम आनन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। Hare Krishna, dear worshipful devotees, thank you for joining. We are at the last section of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 29 and 30. We're going to complete today. So, two more verses for this chapter. So, let's absorb ourselves in these last two verses of chapter 7, text 29. Jara marana mokshaya mamashritya yatanti ye te brahma tadvidu kritsnam adhyatmam karma chakhilam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are called Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. Birth, death, old age, and diseases affect this material body, but not the spiritual body. There is no birth, death, old age, and disease for the spiritual body. So, one who attains a spiritual body becomes one of the associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engages in eternal devotional service is really liberated. Aham Brahmasmi. I am spirit. It is said that one should understand that he is Brahman, spirit soul. This Brahman conception of life is also devotional service as described in this verse. The pure devotees are transcendently situated on the Brahman platform and they know everything about transcendental activities. Four kinds of impure devotees who engage themselves in the transcendental service of the Lord achieve their respective goals. And by the grace of the Supreme Lord, when they are fully Krishna conscious, they actually enjoy spiritual association with the Supreme Lord. But those who are worshippers of demigods never reach the Supreme Lord in his supreme planet. Even the less intelligent Brahman realized persons cannot reach the supreme planet of Krishna known as Goloka Vrindavan. Only persons who perform activities in Krishna consciousness, Mam Ashritya, are actually entitled to be called Brahman because they are actually endeavoring to reach the Krishna planet. Such persons have no misgivings about Krishna and thus they are factually Brahman. Those who are engaged in worshipping the form of Archa of the Lord or who are engaged in meditation on the Lord simply for liberation from material bondage also know by the grace of the Lord the purpose of Brahman, Adibhuta, etc., as explained by the Lord in the next chapter. Hare Krishna. So, so nicely, Srila Prabhupada is explaining here. This verse primarily talks about, the mokshakami bhaktas, those who want to get free from this, birth, old age, disease cycle, right? And, you know, endeavor for liberation, somehow get rid of this birth, old age. So mokshakam, some approach for some material desires, some approach for some relief from sufferings, some approach for liberation. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kamo dharati tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. So these are the real problems. Birth, old age, and disease, as we all know, BODY. Birth, old age, disease, and then Y, Yamaraj. These are the absolute problems which the whole world is going through. There are relative problems and there are absolute problems. Relative problem is like if I have my car engine broke down, let's say. It's a problem for me because I'll have to spend time, energy, money to get it fixed. But for the car mechanic, he's happy. Oh, more customers. So one man's problem, other man's suffering. That's called relative problem. Um, but birth, old age, disease are the categories of problem which are common to all, no one wants, and no one can avoid it. So some approach God, Supreme Lord, to get free from these. Prabhupada is mentioning at the spiritual level there is no birth and death because this birth and death is only for the body. So in short, if one is situated at the spiritual level, then one is already liberated. It's a very high state. Ihayasya hridasya karmana manasa gira nikhilasu api avasthastu jivan mukta sauchyate. One is always situated at the platform of Hari Dasa, that I am a servant of the Lord, and doing all the actions, words, body, mind, words, karmana manasa gira, in alignment with that identity, then one is liberated even though living in the body, like a pure devotee. So pure devotee is like liberation is a natural byproduct of pure bhakti. One is not aspiring for it, but one naturally is liberated. Mm. As we know the story of Dhruva, death became a ladder, like a stepping stone. He stepped on the death as the ladder to step in the Vaikuntha Airlines. And there are multiple other such examples also. So in short, we have to be at the in that if we can be in that state, the more we can be in that state, the more we'll be happy, the less the things of this world will bother us, the more we will be in the bodily consciousness, material consciousness, the more these things, birth, old age, disease, death, will trouble. So intelligent people take shelter of the Supreme Lord. Mhm. Any other thoughts, comments anyone has?
So, Harvishnu Prabhuji, just to clarify myself, so devotee serves the Lord, but ultimately they also ended up going to the Golok Vrindavan or Vaikuntha. Who are the moksha kami? They also ultimately go back to the, if they purify themselves, but they're moksha kami, not devotee, looks like, but they also ended up going to the same place. Is it right?
Same place, you mean Goloka Vrindavan, spiritual world?
Vrindavan or Vaikuntha.
Srila Prabhupada is nicely mentioning here, even the less intelligent Brahman realized persons cannot reach the supreme planet of Krishna known as Goloka Vrindavan. So,
That is for demigod worshippers, I suppose.
no. Those who are worshippers of demigods never reach the supreme. So that's for demigod worshippers. Even the less intelligent, Brahman realized even just understanding Brahman is like the energy. Uh, Basically, here, those who are aspiring for the nirvana, moksha, or state of statelessness, or
Okay,
merging
okay,
in the energy of the Lord, or
okay.
that effulgence. So that's the aspect. So demigod planet is further down. Above that is that effulgence of the Lord. So yeah,
So Mokshamadi means Brahmavadi.
yes. In most cases, that is the we have to see verse to verse understanding. If that person is fully intelligent, that okay, Brahman is also coming from the Supreme Lord, right? Because ultimately they are complete. But if one has that full understanding, so the word is so beautifully used. The less intelligent Brahman realize those who's thinking, oh, this is everything. There is nothing beyond that. That's where the problem. That's like the understanding is incomplete. Hmm. So only persons who are perform activities in Krishna consciousness, basically like take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, those who are endeavoring to reach Krishna planet, that's our goal. Hmm. Morai Abhilash Vilas Kunjadiyovas. Such persons have no misgivings and they are factually Brahman. So see, they are also like here Krishna is saying they're Brahman realized, but they understand the complete Brahman picture. That yes, this Brahman is referring to the energy, but the energetic is sitting in the Goloka Vrindavan. The energy is not the complete understanding. It is understanding, it is correct, it is not false, but it's not complete.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, I guess we can move to the last verse of yes, Girish Prabhu. Hmm.
Yes, Prabhuji, sorry for disturbing background noise. Uh, the, I think like people like us, it's very difficult to reach to Goluka. Very difficult because we already started very late in bhakti. That's what I feel. Like it's I could be I'm wrong, but I feel that's very people who started like they are kids who started at 5 doing chanting and following the principles. It's not comparison or something, but it's we did lot of sins, committed lot of sins in early childhood, like people who left drinking, eating non-veg, and converted like to pure vegetarian or Krishnatarian diet and everything, doing bhakti. Uh, I feel the end result is we'll take a birth again and we'll get a better birth in terms of Brahmana family or something. And we'll start from again, we completed A to E, and then we'll start from F or G again in Bhakti. That's what will happen. Till the time it will keep happening till the time we go to that. That's what my intuition is happening. I never see me going to Goluka. Just wanted to share. Yeah, it's a mission impossible or it's a mission impossible goal, basically. Reaching to Goluka. Yeah. The best would I would get it is like I will take another birth in a family where all devotees are ISKCON devotees, and from the beginning itself, I will get more association, and I will complete wherever it's in my last birth. I will start again on that side. That's what I feel. Yeah. I could be wrong. Hari.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing your thoughts. And the mood is good. See how a devotee should feel. Asha Bandha. We were talking about this yesterday. We should always feel that on my own, I cannot go. What qualification do I have to go to Golok Vrindavan? I am embodiment of faults. I am full of shortcomings. I don't have taste to chant. I don't have taste to do anything good in life. Somehow, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, I'm trying whatever little baby steps I'm trying to take. So we should be hopeful. We should be helpless, but not hopeless. Ahobakiyam. Whenever we feel hopeless, we should remember this verse. Ahobakiyam sthanakalakutam jigham sayapyayadapi asadvi lebhe gatim dhatrimuchitam tatonyam kamvadayalu sharanam rajima. The Putana came, poison, she put poison on her breast to kill Krishna by feeding her breast milk, or in short, the poison to Krishna. But Krishna gave the position in Golok Vrindavan as a mother, as a Dhatri. What to speak? Kamva Dayalu Sharanam Rajima. Who could be more merciful? Hmm? There could be no one more merciful. But see, what is in our hand? In our hand, can we control whether I'll go to Golok Vrindavan or I'll go to whatever, where I'll be born, which city, which country, which planet? We could go to upper planets, we could go to lower planets, we could be born in any species. Of course, all of you are so sincere devotees. You'll always get a higher birth that Krishna assures. So that's one understanding, that we have to try our best to make this life as our last life. Try our very best. Don't leave any stone unturned in our attempt, we should not lax. Kripa, kar and pa. In our attempt, we should be very, very, as if everything depends on us. While we are endeavoring, we should endeavor as if everything depends on us. But when the turn comes for fruit, we should leave everything because everything depends on Krishna. If we do opposite while endeavoring, if we say ultimately it's all Krishna, I don't know what will happen, ultimately, then we will lax in the endeavor. Then there'll be a problem. But when the fruit comes, oh no, 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 why I did so much hard work? Why my marks are low? Why this is low? Why that is? Or when good marks come, oh, look how much hard work I did. No. Attempt 100% endeavor with enthusiasm, with determination, that I'll do my best. Although I am very fallen, although I started late, although I did a lot of bad things in this life, in the past, or the previous lives, but I will not leave any stone unturned in whatever Krishna has blessed me. Still, still I have some days left, some years left, or some decades left, whatever time Krishna has given us. There's a lot. So I will do my best in that time.
This helps, Prabhuji. Yeah. Positivity is there, but yeah, uh, I, I understood your point, Prabhu. We have to keep faith is also there, positivity is there, but uh, I was th- like in terms, I was thinking about the realistic goal or something. Yeah, so that's what like there's a small story I wanted to share with you. I was in St. Louis, correct, and I used to do seva there, but I didn't do the 16 round chanting. And some devotees they were saying that you will not do 16 round, you will not reach to Goloka. You will not do 16 round, you will not reach there. So so everyone has different thoughts or something. But I used to take their positive inspiration, and there was a blockage in my mind that I will never be able to do 16 round. I used to think it's a very big task basically. But slowly, with Guru Maharaj mercy, I was able to do it. I thought I will not be able to do 16 round in this life, basically, on that one particular day. But slowly it happened. Because people used to laugh on me. I started from Pune, ISKCON Pune. I used to do one round of chanting, 1 year, and they said increase the rounds. Then second year I started with increasing from 1 to 2. And then after 3, 4 rounds, 5 rounds, it did not went it did not went further. But with Guru Maharaj mercy, I'm able to do it basically. But it's more of mechanical chanting, like not like chanting has different, I would say, um, uh, not, I'm not getting the right word, but it's a more mechanical chanting. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. We're all trying. We're all there to help and encourage each other. And that's what our mood should be, to help and encourage. If someone says, I'm chanting every word, every syllable in a very purest way, that person is certainly a Mahabhagavat. Um, so we all have shortcomings. I'm talking about myself. So we are there in a hospital, right? What do you expect in a hospital? All healthy people, right? What do you expect in a hospital?
Not healthy people, Prabhuji. Some will be having some issue,
Yeah.
sickness, different type of sickness will be.
Yeah, majority, they go to the hospital because they are diseased. They have some form of sickness. It could be a flu, it could be cancer, it could be something in the middle, right? Right? There are some doctors also in the hospital. So the doctors represent, so ISKCON is also compared to an educational institute, sometimes to a hospital. Hospital where there are pure devotees who are like doctors, spiritual doctors. But majority are patients. Patients what? What is the disease? Bhava Roga, right? And we're trying to cure with the disease. And the doctor gives some pills, some injections, some whatever, right? So the treatment is holy name and the four regulative principles. So sadhu sangha, bhagavad shravan, etc. So don't worry, we are in the hospital. We know we know we have the disease. We know we have the shortcoming. That's why we are there in the hospital. But let's not feel hopeless either. This hospital is very good because it's connecting to Krishna, pure Guru Parampara. That's for sure. And if we stay, so we're in the right hands. 100% success is guaranteed. 100% success, this hospital has 100% success. No one goes from this hospital in the disease condition back, provided they stick to the plan of the doctor and they don't leave themselves in between. If the patient takes upon himself, no, I know better, I'm done. The doctor said you have to spend 5 days to get fully cured. The patient said, no, I'll be gone in 2 days. Then doctor can't do much because the patient didn't follow the words of the doctor. So we have to just follow and have faith. This process has worked for millions. It will work for us if we keep trying, right? If we keep sincerely trying and keep improving. Are we going in the right direction? Even if it's gradual, it's fine. Are we going baby steps towards the right direction? Hmm. So keep trying, keep trying. That's all we are all trying. Keep encouraging, keep serving devotees, keep reading Prabhupada's books, keep chanting, and keep improving chanting, keep improving the quality of reading, keep improving the quality of service. Be more conscious in everything. If you want to improve anything, be more conscious of that. Be more conscious. So it said, first be conscious, then we can become Krishna conscious. Let's say we're conscious of our cooking. I'm cooking for Krishna. Be conscious during the chanting. Oh, I'm chanting the holy name. Let me not use my phone at that time. Let me not worry about office work. If something comes, okay, I'll take care of it after 1 hour when my chanting is done. And of course, there are certain recommendations, trying to get up early, try to chant with devotees, try to chant with Tulsi Devi, try to chant in the Brahma Muhurta. These things help. These things are recommended practices by doctor, pure devotees, the Shastras. So the more we follow, the better the results will be. Some patients will get cured in one day. Some patients will get cured in 1 month. Why? Because it depends how the patient is taking. If the patient, let's say, has a cold, cough, etc., the doctor gave the medicine, but the patient वो burger खाए या pizza, chocolate, पूरी, पाव भाजी सब खा के आ गया. Will he get cured? Eating fried, Coca-Cola, ice cream. Oh,
No
I took the
problem.
medicine,
No problem. Yeah.
right? So the doctor has prescribed some do's and don'ts also for us. The more we can be situated in the do's and the less in the don'ts, the better, the faster the cure will be. So keep trying, keep trying. I know easier said than done. I'm just repeating all this for my own self. Yeah. And
Thank you for explanation, Prabhuji. This helps me. One last question, Prabhuji. What should be the mood like? The mood is to go achieve, to go to Goloka, or we should pray to Lord Krishna that every birth, whatever birth will get, we get your bhakti. What should be the mood, basically?
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu answers your question. Dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishwari bhavatad bhaktir ahetu kitvan. A pure devotee only endeavors for selfless, unalloyed bhakti, birth after birth. Whether Krishna, you keep me in heaven or hell, America or India, Australia or London, big house, small house, rich or poor, fat or thin, right? Job or no job, I will not give up your lotus feet. Like Pandavas, so many challenges, so many dualities, so many turmoils in their life were there. They were Krishna conscious in the royal kingdom. They were Krishna conscious, fully Krishna conscious, even in the forest. They were Krishna conscious in the battlefield. They were Krishna conscious in the marriage arena, or marriage, like the marriage, or like joyful occasions. That's pure devotees. So it's not bad, as we have discussed multiple times, that Krishna, as we say in the Tulasi Arati, Mora Abhilash Vilas Kunja Diyo was, please give me residence in your eternal Vrindavan Dham. That's not bad at all. There are different moods, but ultimately, what do we do there? Bhakti. What do we do here? Bhakti.
Bhakti. Yeah.
So, and that's the verse, right? That's exactly the verse you're reading. So, one who attains a spiritual body becomes one of the associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engages in eternal devotional service is really liberated. In fact, they're already liberated because they're already in the spiritual platform. And they move in different parts of the world or planets, not because of their karma, but because of Krishna's divine plan, like Srila Prabhupada and other great souls. They descend, they come to help us. They're like the ambassadors of the spiritual world to help us understand our real home, our real goal. And you mentioned, oh, I may have to take a few more births. See, ultimately we have to try our best, but even if Krishna decides to do that for us, that is fine. In the eternal journey of the soul, what is a few birds? Nothing. In a infinite line, what is like one dot? Nothing, right?
Nothing, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Nothing. These dots in the infinite line represent different birds. So even if we take one or two more birds, that is And that's what Krishna wants, so be it. I will do my best, but that should not be an excuse to relax today or to slow down. अरे अभी चलो अगले जन्म में कर लेंगे. Right?
Right, Prabhuji.
चलो अभी थोड़ा मौज मस्ती करते हैं. Next life I'll do. अभी के लिए हो गया. I've done some chanting, I've done some bhakti. I'll get a human birth. Next lifetime.
Yeah,
Next.
because somebody will read carefully Bhagavad Gita. It says correct. If somebody has chanted my name carefully once only, he will guaranteed get a human form or something. This verse is there. I don't remember it. I
Yes.
know the
Yes.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we say, okay, we chanted uh, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra carefully for some years. Now we'll definitely get a birth. Then we'll go next birth and then we'll try. Yeah, that's yeah, I understood probably. Yeah. I just wanted to know the mood basically. So I understood what should be the devotee's mood. We should not be worried about the end result basically, where we are going, whether it's a Goloka or taking a next birth or next birth and then next birth. Our goal is to do bhakti. Sir, you were saying something correct. Some devotee also told me the same thing. What are you going to do when you go to Goloka? He asked me this question. I said, Bhakti, the same thing you are doing here also. So you're going to do the same thing. So even to do after 5 births, 10 births, 15 births, 20 births, you are still doing it.
Mm-hmm. So, very nice.
But I have seen kids, Prabhuji, there is one kid is there. His video is viral. He's 3 years old and he does chanting. He's part of ISKCON. So he's part of the ISKCON. So that's what. So if you do bhakti, then you will get definitely a human form. If again, and you will be born in a place where you will can start again from A, B, C, D, E, F. Again, you will start from G. Okay, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Bravo. Let's complete this last verse and then that completes chapter 7. So if anyone would like to read text 30.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanavad. I'll try, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, I just want to add the previous
Yes.
discussion, 2 sentences from the previous discussion. That His Grace Prangon Prabhu in one of the class was also mentioning. Goloka is not like a physical place, like on the top. Like I mean, on the chat, yes, it's on the top, all the way on the top. But as Prabhuji was mentioning, the last point that Prabhuji was mentioning, the seva, somebody asked the question and he was answering exactly like that. If we do seva in the favor, in the mood of Krishna, on what Krishna likes, if we do the seva in a favorable mood on what Krishna likes constantly, then that's where Goloka is. That soul is liberated. And the point is, how consistent can we be in that mood? Differentiating, right? That connection, the soul's connection with the Supreme Lord, that he's not different. Well, he is different, but to know the source of that soul, that he is coming from the super soul. And looking into, with that attitude, looking with that attitude while talking to, while using in our thoughts, body, and actions to others, then that is liberation. That's Goloka. In here itself, we are in Goloka. So I just want to share that. So it's not like yes, it is a physical place. We do the seva, Dasya Rasa to Krishna. But if we do the same here in that mode, we are liberated. And the same feeling when we go to the temple also, right? We look at the deities, we get to see the same feeling. That's in Goloka. So Yeah, Prabhuji Pranbu and Prabhu was sharing, so I just wanted to share.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing such nectar.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And also one more, Srila Prabhupada was, and you would be better explaining. Prabhupada quoted in one of the conversation, or that he definitely has the key for the back door. He might not be right. You might. So he quoted that he might not have a chance to get the devotee from the front door, but he definitely has the key to the back door. So if we stick to Prabhupada and his lotus feet, to his teachings, Bhagavatam, and everybody is doing a lot of seva, book distribution, service with a humble attitude, serving the devotees, then Prabhupada promised that he has the key. So now we know where we go in this birth. So don't even have to think about the next birth. This is all His Grace Prango and Prabhu quoted Prabhuji. Just wanted to share, please.
Wonderful. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, Mataji, you can read this verse now.
Text 30, Bhagavad Gita, text 7.30. Sadibhutadidaivam mam sadhiyagnam chaye vidu prayanakalepi cha mam te vidur yukta chetasaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Those in full consciousness of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of the material manifestation of the demigods and of all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. I think I did not read it properly, but yeah, even at the time of death. Purport: persons acting in Krishna consciousness are never deviated from the path of entirely understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the transcendental association of Krishna consciousness, one can understand how the Supreme Lord is the governing principle of the material manifestation and even of the demigods. Gradually, by such transcendental association, one becomes convinced of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And at the time of death, such a Krishna conscious person can never forget Krishna. Naturally, he is thus promoted to the planet of the Supreme Lord, Goloka Vrindavan. Should I continue, Prabhuji, or somebody else?
Yeah, maybe someone else wants to read the purport.
This seventh chapter particularly explains how one can become a fully Krishna conscious person. The beginning of Krishna consciousness is association of persons who are Krishna conscious. Such association is spiritual and puts one directly in touch with the Supreme Lord. And by His grace, one can understand Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At the same time, one can really understand the constitutional position of the living entity and how the living entity forgets Krishna and becomes entangled in material activities. By gradual development of Krishna consciousness in good association, the living entity can understand that due to forgetfulness of Krishna, he has become conditioned by the loss of material nature. He can also understand that this human form of life is an opportunity to regain Krishna consciousness and that it should be fully utilized to attain the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord. Many subjects have been discussed in this chapter: the man in distress, the inquisitive man, the man in want of material necessities, knowledge of Brahman, knowledge of Paramatma, liberation from the birth, death, and disease, and worship of the Supreme Lord. However, he who is actually elevated in Krishna consciousness does not care of the defined processes. He simply directly engages himself in activities of Krishna consciousness and thereby factually attains his constitutional position as an eternal servitor of Lord Krishna. In such a situation, he takes pleasure in hearing and glorifying the Supreme Lord in pure devotional service. He is convinced that by his doing so, all his objectives will be fulfilled. fulfilled. This determined faith is called Dhiro Brato, and it is the beginning of Bhakti Yoga or transcendental loving service. That is the verdict of all scriptures. This seventh chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is the substance of that conviction. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the seventh chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of knowledge of the Absolute. Back to Guruji.
Thank you, Prabhuji, Mataji, for reading. Any thoughts, reflections in this particular verse you want to share?
So, Prabhuji, the portion I did was clearly telling to be Krishna conscious, we need the association. That is the beginning. And we have to be have our dhriya nishtha, attachment. Just we were discussing that we have to get in, get stick to it, and one day it will happen, earlier or later, depending on our endeavor and Guranga's mercy. And this chapter, particularly the second chapter, as Prabhupada said, that is the substance of that conviction. So knowledge of absolute, how to be Krishna conscious. Back to Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Sa Adi Bhuta is Adi Bhuta. All these energies, this verse is basically summarizing the whole chapter if we see. In the beginning, we talked about hearing process, the head acronym. Then we talked about the energies or the bhutas, different panchamahabhut, bhumi, rapo, nalo, vayu, kham, manu, buddhi, revacha, mental energy, spiritual energy, etc. Then we talk about accepting and rejecting. There are 4 kinds of people who accept, 4 kinds of people who reject. And then finally, who are more intelligent, who are less intelligent, right? Who the contrast between approaching demigods versus approaching the Supreme Lord. And finally, Krishna says in the last verse of this, which is like the, you can say, like the final 6 in the match, like the closing. So he's closing that, ultimately concluding that I am Sa Adi Bhuta. I'm that governing principle of everything. I am the governing principle of all the sacrifice, yajna. Prayana Kali Chapima. And one who is absorbed, whose chetasa, yukta chetasa. Yukta means yukta, yoga, same. Connection or engagement or union, whatever word we can use. So if we can connect our consciousness, our chetasa, engage our mind, our consciousness, our heart in thinking of him, Devadur, to know him, to understand him, to worship him, right? Those who are in full consciousness of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, the governing principle of everything, the demigod, sacrifice, even at the time of death. And of course, in the next chapter, chapter 8, we will see more about what is the destination of those who are able to remember Krishna at the time of death. Where do they go? In each chapter, it's mentioned. Basically, they go back home, back to Godhead, as we have already discussed. Yanti Deva Vrita Devan Pitrin Yanti Pitri Vrita. So, very, very wonderful chapter, knowledge of the Absolute, Gyan Vijnana Yoga. Clarifies a lot of commonly asked questions. This chapter has a lot of answers to a lot of questions. You know, the difference between material and spiritual, the difference between four types of people, pure devotees versus alloyed devotees, unalloyed devotees, demigods, you know, etc., etc. All these are very, very commonly asked questions and a lot of confusion in these matters. But Bhagavad Gita, especially this chapter, it is the starting of the Bhakti Yoga section, answers very, very beautifully. And as Prabhupada is nicely mentioning, by gradual development of Krishna consciousness in good association, the living, I really like this line. By the gradual development of Krishna consciousness in good association, the living entity can understand that due to forgetfulness of Krishna, you become conditioned with material nature. So, in short, the emphasis is on association, right? The beginning of Krishna consciousness is association of persons or Krishna conscious, period. Straight, simple. There's the beginning also, and also in the middle, and also in the end. It's always required. It's not just it's required in the beginning only. It's required at all times. Such association is spiritual and puts one directly in touch with the Supreme Lord. Wow. So getting a chance to be in the association of devotees should not be taken as a mundane activity. And one should not engage in mundane things while in the association of devotees. It's like you it's like using a brand new phone to hammer nails, right? Or use as a door stopper. So Bhagwan Krishna Maharaj was giving me that. You get a brand new phone, pay $1,000, and you will use it as door stopper? No, it's not meant for that. It will work, perhaps. It'll do the job, but you can buy maybe a $2 door stopper for that. Not waste $1,000. So similarly, already we are in so much mundane consciousness, office, and you step out of the home, grocery store, and paying the bills and paying this, and so much. Rarely we get chance to associate with devotees, and that it's very spiritual, puts in direct touch with the Lord. So we must take it in that spirit. And in that way, one will certainly uplift gradually and go back home to the eternal home. Any thoughts, comments, additions, questions in this verse or in this chapter, chapter 7? Anyone wants to add? See, Mataji is also joined. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Well, any other thoughts or reflections? Something really struck you, something inspired you, something you want to reflect upon? Anyone? We have a few minutes. We can take some thoughts before we wrap up.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Prabhuji, in this chapter, many points have been discussed, like the inquisitive man, the want of material necessities, knowledge of Brahman, knowledge of Paramatma, liberation from birth, death. So most of the chapters are covered in this verse. So, and you have discussed this very at your leisure, very in minute way. So, but I would like that we could take another chapter like this one. Not now. Maybe we can continue like the chapter 3 about karma yoga and all. If we can do it in the future, because this chapter now I really understand the importance of chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita. So much knowledge in that. The very aim of the very aim of our life is that in the Bhagavad Gita of chapter 7, the absolute truth. Yeah. This is going to remain in my mind now, the knowledge of the absolute. Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very well explained with all details.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, this is our life. To read Gita, share Gita, live Gita. So and it's the beauty of Prabhupada's scriptures. Any scripture you read in Gita, you'll find Bhagavatam verses, in Charitamrita verses. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, you'll find Bhagavatam verses, Gita verses. These three books are main for all Gaudiya Vaishnavas: Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. You read Bhagavatam, so many times we see Gita verses. We go back and read and hear those. So that's the beauty of Prabhupada's scriptures. It's not just, read the verse, read the translation, keep moving, keep moving. There's so much Prabhupada is helping us to understand better by the Bhaktivedanta purports, by connecting all the scriptures. So surely. And as we all know that we kind of started this verse, this chapter of Bhagavad Gita, or the Gita Marathon. We had a goal of 1,500 Bhagavad Gitas to distribute. A lot of devotees did a lot of hard work. It's hard to mention in a quick, the names, because everyone did so much. Especially Subala Prabhu did a lot of hard work in his whole family. A lot of MSFs, so many devotees joining every week. The Gita Yagya, the Gita donations, Gita, so many platforms devotees shared Bhagavad Gita by gifting, donating, sponsoring, etc., etc. So I'm happy to say that we are very, very close to achieving the goal. And yeah, maybe one last kind of last time I'm going to post again if anyone wants to kind of, like do some finishing strokes, finishing move, like the last lap of the marathon. Yeah, so the last lap is on, you can say, next few days. If anyone has any final thoughts, ideas, any friends, any well-wishers, any contacts they would like to donate Gita, give Gita, sponsor Gita, gift Gita, our hotlines are open. We are just maybe about 100 or 200 books short, so of our goal. So we're around 1,300, and I'm very sure in the last 2-3 days we can get there by all of our efforts. So thank you for those who are present and for those who will be hearing, and I'm going to post that in the group also as a message in case anyone would like to help. Any donation, every donation matters. There is no small or big. Whatever anyone's heart desires, they can offer as in the mission of Lord Chaitanya to spread Bhagavad Gita in every town, to every person. Haribol. Okay. Anything else before we pause for today? Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Shilpa, you're saying something?
Yeah, I just want to thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for encouraging, inspiring, as always. And reading Bhagavad Gita 7 chapters. 7 chapter is so, as Mataji was mentioning, learned a lot. Very, very important chapter. Very kind of a turning point chapter to Bhakti. So, and you explained it so nicely with examples also in detail. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very bold.
Very well. All glories to Prabhupada. All glories to the Vaishnavas and all glories to our Supreme Lord Bhagavad Gita speaker, Lord Sri Krishna. He's the speaking, and all of us are getting the nectar. Bhagavad Gita Upanishad ki jai, Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Only Buddhists.
Hare Krishna.